It's been 6 years of podcasting, and without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring these podcasts to you. So I want to thank today's sponsors. And first off, we have the Pretentious Pickle Company of 190 Water Street in Plymouth. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, go down and check out what they make. They have everything pickled you can imagine, from pickled beets to carrots to mushrooms to onions to Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. They even have pickled or pickled flavor cotton candy, I should say. They make it fresh there every day, and you can go in there and check out what they have to offer. And if you're not in the Plymouth area, you can go to pretentiouspickle.com and check out what they have to offer there as well, and they will ship it out to you. Their stuff is delicious. You should check it out, and they are big fans of ours, and we are big fans of theirs. So thank you to the Pretentious Pickle Company for sponsoring today's episode. And our second sponsor today is Moonrise Cinemas. Moonrise Cinemas is a new drive-in in Plymouth, right on the Plymouth-Kingston line. They are located at 428 Court Street in Plymouth, Mass. And they offer a great selection of movies. You can go. It's very family-friendly. I went and checked out the Goonies there. They've had Marvel movies, a wide variety of stuff. And they're really starting to expand. They have had the Rocky Horror Picture Show this coming year. They're doing music on Thursday nights. On Wednesdays are going to be 420 friendly events. So make sure you check out what they have to offer. MoonriseCinemas.com. It's a great venue. They have a beer garden. They have their own food. Their food's phenomenal. And they're bringing back their French toast, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, MoonriseCinemas.com. And if you use code Inebri-art when purchasing tickets, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you go to MoonriseCinemas.com to get your tickets for movies, concerts, and more. And use code Inebri-art for 10% off on your purchase. And now let's jump right into the podcast. Was that a we're going thumbs up, or were you just like... All right, so we're rolling. Welcome back, Inebri-art. This is Andy, as always.
What?
Inebri-art?
Inebri-art, okay.
Someone who follows Inebri-art.
All right.
It's kind of like a cult thing.
Oh, so it's kind of like the singer Lorde, how she has her disciples?
Yeah, and doesn't Gaga have monsters?
Gaga has monsters. The Rock has the people.
Crit Roll has critters.
Mm-hmm. And the wrestler Test has his testicles. So
had.
Yep.
Had.
He no longer has testicles?
He no longer has anything. He's been dead for several years.
Rest in peace,
Well,
Test.
people will still be fans.
Are you a testicle?
Yeah, he had his moments.
So, anyways, we're actually at our good friends Barrelhouse Z in Weymouth, Mass. If you happen to be out and about and looking for a cold beverage, check them out. And that one of those voices that you are hearing that you haven't heard before. No, you have. You probably have. You should have.
You don't remember.
It was like forever ago. Like 4 years?
I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, that's the guy I remember from 4 years ago. I remember that voice now.
Of course. So that's AJ Hapenny, stand-up comic, Cape Codder extraordinaire.
Hello there.
And
Inebri-ites. See, I said it too.
Yeah, it's a thing. Don't be jealous.
Dude,
do you have...
That was so fetch.
Do you have hay change?
No. I have my fans are called restraining order distance away.
Yeah. So we have had a weird friendship. You came on the podcast. I think I just basically cold called you because I was like a stand-up comedian near me kind of thing. And now we're in business together. Now we run comedy shows.
That's right.
How did that happen?
Desperation on both of our parts.
Mine was just trying to sell board. So in quarantine lockdown,
Me, it's a beautiful thing because I could just go to the South Shore rather than go to Boston. I mean, I could go to Boston because gas prices are so cheap right now, but
Yeah.
the South Shore for me.
I just upgraded to a Hummer because. Do they still make those?
I think they're still making the H3s, and it's still the same model from 2009.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. So now are we the hottest thing in South Shore comedy? Can I say that? Like, I want to say that, but I feel like that's rude.
Literally the hottest thing in South Shore comedy because it's 75 fucking degrees here right now.
It's a little toasty. Yeah, so like we started this thing 3 years ago. Was it that far?
Yeah. It was 3 years ago.
It was like the height of lockdown.
Height of lockdown. We tested out a Zoom show. I saw a bunch of Zoom shows, and I hated them all. So I thought, well, this is what I would do differently, and we were able to apply that, which was nice. We start out with just people that, hey, I know you're stuck at home, other comedians, but if you want to do this, it's still painful, but not as painful as the other ones.
Yeah.
As the other Zoom shows where everybody mutes their stuff.
And I feel like the talk of the time was like, hey, let's get the COVID jokes out of the way because by the time you're back in front of an audience, they're going to be hacky.
Yeah.
You know?
And we were even saying that on the Zoom calls as well.
Even then it was like, ugh, no one wants to hear your mask joke.
Even last week, I heard someone talk about, everybody bought all the toilet paper. No, they didn't.
That was
2.5 years ago.
Wow. I can't believe. Yeah, and that was kind of like what you said. Like, we want to get those jokes out of the way because by the time you're in front of people.
And I said they were going to get hacky. Literally yesterday when I was booking a private event, they literally said at the book, custom material. The only thing it said was no COVID jokes. Good.
That's funny.
I'll be more than happy to have closed it that day.
And now you're everywhere. You're Hawaii.
Let's see, Hawaii, Chicago, LA for a little bit. Then August, going to be going to Cincinnati.
For a comedy festival?
Yes, the Midwest Queer Comedy Festival.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that one, but that's the only flight that I've booked this year, just because of not only the rising gas prices, but the rising flight prices as well. When I flew to Hawaii, the flight one way was literally $269.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd fly to say hi to Sarah Martin, good friend of a show, and the flight from LA to Boston, despite it being direct, cost me like $300.
Huh. Yeah, we flew out to Vegas, and I think for me and Fish to Fly, it was like $650, something like that.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And then the matter of like 3 months, Carl booked his ticket, and it was like $1,000.
That's what Carl gets for being him.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's so now we do these shows. We're kind of like waiting on a show coming up tonight. Did you expect this to go this way? Like, did you think I was going to be the psycho and book us any lemonade stand opening?
I wasn't expecting to be alive this long, to be honest with you. I wasn't even thinking about the future, because everyone would say, "Oh, COVID's going to end in 2 months. Oh, it's going to be 2 weeks." Like, oh, I guess comedy is done, but I'm just gonna stay funny in the wings just in case. Just practice the chops.
Yeah.
Keep writing. Keep doing all this virtual stuff. But no, I didn't imagine that it would pick up this quickly. It's to the point where people are saying like, "Oh, you should check out this place," and I said, "No, I don't want to." If they come to us for a show, or if they go to Andy, then yeah, awesome. But I'm not looking for new venues to do stuff unless someone goes out of their way to hit me up.
And that's one of the weirdest things is like, I never for a second thought that people were going to be like, hey, I saw your comedy show, or I saw your ad for a comedy show. And Dorchester Brewery just hit me up like yesterday in an email. It was like, hey, is it okay if WGBH uses the image to promote it? And I'm like, no, fuck you. Like, of course.
We are artists.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you asking, but don't be stupid, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
No, but it's been great. As I was discussing with Fish, it's been a little stagnant like the past like 3-4 weeks everywhere, just because of rising gas prices.
Yeah, gas prices and like weather's finally broke. So like summer's here, so I feel like people are like getting their yards ready. And like this morning, I saw the weather and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be great because it's pouring rain out. And as the day progressed, I'm like, I hope the people who bought tickets show up because it's fucking beautiful out. Yeah, it's a weird business. I've always heard comics talk about like, oh, I drove like 45 minutes to do 5 minutes and get like 3 buffalo wings as payment. But
get a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of how the business works. It's a weird industry.
Oh, sure. It's especially in the Boston area, and then I try to break that stigmatism, especially if somebody's driving out or coming this way. At least give them something if I can.
I don't think hand jobs count.
Oh, it does. Is any gas, grass, or ass, and any exchange. Just give him a little hand. That's why there's a glory hole here at Brewery 44, only in Carver. Oh, shout out to Brewery 44.
They're never gonna let us do shit anymore.
Dude, I love how there was a dog that was there at Brewery 44, but as soon as I walked in with Mosev Musa, that dog started barking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I can't wait to see that footage.
But now you're doing like your own podcast now.
So
what brought that on?
Health Class Heroes is something I wanted to do for a while, but my co-host Chris, I'm just waiting for him to finish up his plays, so we can put 100% of our focus into that on our free time, because pretty much comedy, anything else, I just make my hobby. I hardly play video games. I've never finished a TV show in my whole life.
It's crazy. Like people be like, "Oh, what do you do for fun?" And I'm like, I run my business for fun because it is like.
Editing the podcast for Health Class Heroes, because we did a couple episodes with my friend Dre, and her facial expression, seeing a lot of those 90s health class videos just made it absolutely priceless. So trying to have it to the point where we can have a third green screen, that way have another guest, preferably a comic or somebody in the entertainment industry, something. That way we can have their facial expressions and say, "Oh, that's gonna be the thumbnail."
But where did the idea even come from? Like,
I had in the back of my mind since college. I was just fascinated by just all the propaganda that was in these videos, and finding out later that all of them had been issued by the government. Mainly during the Reagan administration, and then later on in the Bush administration, that saying, "Oh, how do we get these kids off drugs? Let's make this the number one focus, because every generation has to have its boogeyman."
yeah,
Now it's what? Russia is our boogeyman
Russia right
again?
now, I think, which is so weird because I remember there's a movie out of the 80s called Gotcha. And I was watching it with my nephew. My nephew was probably like 12 or 13 at the time. And, they're going back and forth from East to West Berlin, and they're running from the Russians and blah, blah, blah. And about halfway through the movie, I turned to my nephew and said, you don't know why they're running from Russians, do you? And he's like, no. I'm like, every time they say Russian, in your head say terrorist. And he went, oh. And it is like in the 80s they were the boogeyman, now they're back.
Yeah, so as soon as the 80s boogeyman Russia was out, so we need another boogeyman, we need somewhere to put our focus. so that we can do our weird war crimes. Drugs. That's the number one problem is drugs. Not just drugs, but the people doing the drugs. That's the problem.
So are you only going to do drug like movies? Because there were other videos in health class. There were sex one, AJ.
Drugs is a preferable one, but then I've had other comics hit me up that say, "Hey, when you do the sex ed one, have me on." So of course we're gonna have to branch out with that. Drugs is a personal favorite of mine. Love drugs. Is a personal favorite of mine, but
you can send your drugs to AJ PO Box.
PO Box Inebri-art.
Listen to us.
I mean, don't not send them to us.
But then there's. But we'll get into the sex ed ones, preferably ones that are promoted by the Catholic Church.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
If you smoke weed on the Sabbath, it makes you gay.
And you're watching. It was a series of them with Gossett Jr. Right?
Yes, straight up with Louis Gossett Jr.
I was blanking on his first name.
So when you have him on the podcast eventually,
we'll have you sit in on that one.
Yes,
for sure.
yes, exactly. And the only questions I'm going to ask are about straight up, and maybe the occasional Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah,
but it was fascinating because it was towards because it was after Eagle Eye, and then
Eagle Eye.
Where he played Chappie.
Iron Eagle,
yes. Eagle Eye is the one with Shia LaBeouf. My bad. So his career would kind of stagger.
Wow, that was after that?
Yeah.
Because Iron Eagle was a huge movie.
Iron Eagle was 86.
Yeah.
Officer and a Gentleman was 82. So straight up, the government-funded drug videos that he was in was 1988.
Was he ever arrested? Was this like a legal having to make the movies? Because I've heard of that.
Let's put it this way. I didn't see any legal record.
Yeah.
From 1986 to 1988, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was expunged because of that.
Okay, yeah.
Not that I'm talking trash, the great Louis Gossett Jr.
No, but I mean, that's happened.
But
not to him, to other people, allegedly.
Yeah, but let's put it as I would
you can
do
say
one of
whatever
those
you want
videos.
as long as you say allegedly.
Yeah. I would do one of those videos too, if it got me off. So then it also starred Chad Allen, who infamously was in Saint Elsewhere.
He was the kid.
Yeah, he was the kid. He was the
All
kid.
of TV is this kid's
It was Tommy Westfall.
Mm-hmm. And the whole show, all 6 to 7 seasons, that brought on Denzel Washington, the guy that played Monk, who Tony Shalhoub. Thank you. And so many other so many other actors. It brought them on, and then all of a sudden, it all just happened in this autistic child's mind.
Yeah.
And that was the whole show. That's probably what Chad Allen is most famous for.
And the funny part is there's like a flow chart that shows like all the TV shows that connects to that, and it's a insane amount of TV that is imagined by.
Oh, like what else?
The shows.
I just called them out.
Damn it! I didn't exist. I didn't say I had it memorized.
So Scrubs.
No, I'm gonna say.
Just stall for a second. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
Pizza break.
All right, so St. Elsewhere crossed over with, let's see, Homicide: Life on the Street, X-Files, Chicago Hope,
Ooh.
Diagnosis Murder, the original Mission Impossible. Let's see.
Oh, the one with Andy Dick?
What?
No, Andy Dick was the later one. He played
the
played
Tom
the son.
Cruise?
No,
Wait.
I was thinking Get Smart.
Mission Impossible, though.
Right.
Yeah, the fun one. Veronica Mars, Doctor Who, The Flying Nun, L.A. Law, Leave It to Beaver, My Mother the Car. You can move on anytime.
Yeah, there's like tons of them.
There's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need the whole list.
Please don't, because
All right.
it's very small font.
I'll read them all. Let's see how much time we can eat up.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, Inebri-ites.
So, when did you start booking shows? Because you have the one, the Red Nun down Cape Cod, and you've been around that since pre-COVID.
I've been doing that one for about 5.5 years, and we're coming up on our 100th show, June 8th.
Was it you didn't have shows run the way you wanted to run them, so you figured you wanted them to be run, so you figured you'd do your own? Like what?
I originally started that one with a couple friends, Ed Waugh and Jesslyn Peters, but then eventually they stopped doing comedy full time and got on with their lives, and I see that as
got on with their lives.
Yeah, I see that as a way of like we're all in prison and then they got out.
They got out. They still come to visit you. And
Yeah, they come to visit every now and then.
rub your nipples up against the glass.
Jesslyn is actually going to be on the 100th show.
Nice.
And then it's a way of just like, oh, I'm just visiting you in prison. I'm a counselor now. Like I've actually moved beyond this. Even somebody that died and then they buried them over the prison, they finally got out. Ed still does it every now and then. I'm one of the only Cape comics that does it as a full-time job, because I have no other choice. Every other place, it's just no, they're not gonna take my smart ass. And plus I had to the point where if I'm not working regularly, if I'm not working 5 days a week, then I'm just dead in the water.
Yeah.
So like I put that self in a position where I'm hungry for comedy, but I'm also hungry.
That is one of the tricks. So like back in September, I made Inebri-art my full-time gig, and there's that fine line between I want to do this to forward art, I want to do this because I think it's a good idea, and hey, they're going to pay me to do this. Do you get stuck in those positions where you're like, I don't want to do it, but I mean, like, it is like $500.
Absolutely. But it's more like, I don't want to do it, but it's $100. I literally did I did a Pride show here.
Yep.
On Sunday, and I knew it was going to be a bloodbath and this is not a knock on the crowd. It's just they're not a comedy crowd, so they're not going to be as good as a comedy crowd.
Right.
And so
they're not here for a comedy show.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. They made that abundantly clear. so when Craig Martin, the guy that booked me, said like, "Hey, there's this Pride thing." Everyone else said no.
And you're well, how much does it pay?
Well, I'm on my way back there, so that'll be perfect. And they said, "Oh, we got a really good crowd for you." And I said, "Sure." So went up. I cut my time down because I knew they're not having it.
Yeah.
And plus, like with kids there, I didn't plan for kids being there at a Pride show.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna teach them about the birds and the bees. If somebody says do a 20-minute set, I put a 20-minute set in my mind, but I don't factor in that there will be mostly childs there.
Yeah.
That's heck. It's nah. I'm not gonna do Disney jokes because they're not gonna pay attention anyway. That's not a knock on them.
They're kids.
Yeah, they're kids. They're looking at their iPads the whole time.
Right.
So with that, you gotta read the room and say, okay, just do the thing.
20-minute set is a 7-minute set.
That was 12 minutes. and I'll stay and eat cookies. I felt bad for the improv troupe that was on afterwards because I could tell that they're good.
Yeah.
But they're
still improv.
True. And when you ask for crowd participation, everybody's just so improv, you're dead in the water if you're not getting any improvers at all. So a lot of the, and especially like a lot of the private events, like after they booked me, well, I wait till after they book me and let them know.
Until after you cleared the check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Until the deposit clears and it's in my account. So just to let you know, I'm booking in top tier talent, people that have been on TV, people that have been on the road, people that have traveled the country to do comedy. I've done my part, but just to let you know, the crowd is not a general comedy crowd.
Yeah.
It's if you're expecting to be the same atmosphere as a comedy club in New York, I just want to get that out of your head right now.
Yeah.
We'll still do the best that we can. And if you folks want to pay attention, great. I'll make the show great as possible. But we're not expecting much.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be expecting much.
And I tell people this, pretty much everything we get involved with is usually by accident. And running the comedy shows is no different. And I said, when I first moved to Plymouth, I found these amazing artists. And I'm like, the art talent in Plymouth is amazing. And then I got involved in some of the music scene. And I'm like, oh my God, the music, I can't believe these people aren't touring the country. And then being in the comedy scene, I'm like, the comedy scene blows them all out of the water. Like, I don't know why half these people don't have Netflix specials already. It's why is that, AJ?
It's because I hold them down. No,
right.
underwater, just doing that. It's all about marketing yourself as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that just because you're good, you'll rise to the top on your own, which is admirable. But it's not. You have to fucking ask.
Yeah.
You have to ask constantly. You have to do spots constantly. You have to work your ass off to the point where you're on every show and you were just. It's like the wrestler. I take this from the wrestler
goody,
Cody
another
Rhodes.
wrestling.
but it has some meaning.
I know. I'm just
go from undesirable to undeniable.
okay.
It was a point like 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody would book me on shit.
Yeah.
But then to the point, well, I'm just gonna have my writing so goddamn good, so solid for all these shows that I'm not booking, but shows that I'm on, and just make it hard for everybody else on the show. That's just like, hey, we'll just give AJ a better spot, or hey, we'll book AJ now. That to the point where I'm unfucking deniable, and that's why I tell other people rather than bitch online and go to the comedian groups and say like, oh, I'm not getting booked. Well, instead of bitching about it, be better.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm already good. Oh, well, I'm glad you have it all figured out. I'm glad you maxed out where you are right now.
But I mean, that's so true in like anything is like, if you're that good of a band that no band wants to follow you when you open for them, you're going to be headlining. If you're opening a comedy show and no one wants to follow you, you're going to be headlining.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have to be really honest with yourself and like, okay, was it the crowd or was it my joke?
And the easiest way to determine that is to one listen to your set afterwards, because oftentimes I listen like I suck, but I'll listen. I'm like, no, the crowd's laughing. It's just high ceilings, and I can't hear any of the laughter.
Right,
I thought it sucked. Or B, watch the rest of the show. If they're laughing at the people
the ceilings were only
you,
high during my set.
it just if you're gonna blame everybody but you every single time, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
If you are stubborn and you don't take any constructive criticism at all, just fucking quit now. Because if you have it all figured out, great, but nobody's gonna follow your shit. And I'll watch the rest of a show if the crowd is still stagnant for like the other people after me. It's like, oh, it was the crowd.
Yeah.
But if they're laughing at the feature, the headliner, they're dying laughing, like, no, it was me.
Yeah.
So that's probably the easiest way to determine it. But a lot of comics will go to, oh, well, my jokes were too smart for that crowd. No, your jokes just sucked.
It's funny because like, comics have their 5-10 minutes, whatever they do. I have seen your set 30 times now, give or take, maybe more. And I know when you're on because I'm like, oh, AJ made me laugh tonight. And it's hard to make someone laugh with the same bit over and over again, but like I can tell like when you're having a good night because
Well, it's also to that point too that you have to perform for the majority that are there.
yeah.
Because if you're performing for the back of the room, just the few people that have seen your shit, then
Oh yeah, I mean like I don't expect you to make me laugh. Like that's not what I meant.
oh great. I don't expect you to make you laugh, Mr. Comedian,
You're
even
not
though
that
that's
funny.
what you do for a living.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, if you hear the same joke over and over and over again, like you know where it's going, it's less funny. But like that's how I know like when you're having a good night in front of a good crowd is like I'm like, oh, that's like a new tag or he spun it a little bit different. And
Oh, well, all the jokes that I've done, I don't tell any of my jokes the same that I have 2 years ago.
yeah,
I'm firmly in belief that a joke is never finished. So like you're saying with tags, adding shit whenever I can, doing the same space. My set, all 30 of those sets, I have never told any of those jokes the exact same way.
yeah,
It's never been the same lineup. It's never been the same order. And there's a lot of comics that will tell it the same order, which is admirable. But someone else sees you like, okay, that was funny. They're probably not going to go out of their way to see you again.
right.
And that's just a small reality. And because it's like a lot of the same people that go to the same shows, I watch the previous set that I did and I say, okay, I can't do any of those jokes that I did at the last show
Yeah,
because it's going to be a lot of those same people that go to that one. But that same week I can do the same set because it's going to be all different rooms.
how long is it? Like how long do you do a joke before you're like, all right, I'm not telling that joke anymore. I need to write. I mean, you're always writing new ones, but like where you feel the obligation to like change your setup
When it stops being funny.
Yeah.
When like you're saying, if I'm on and I'm having a good time, if I'm telling it I'm not having a good time with it, it's time to change it up or just put it on the back burner for now. I have such a pressure to keep writing.
Yeah.
Red Nun is twice a month.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the same people that go. So I am writing constantly. And I say, okay, I can do this joke because I haven't told it in 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And I can bring that back and just tweak it just a little bit. So with that, I haven't created like a solid like 20, but as long as the crowd is consistently laughing,
Yeah.
then that's what's most important. If I'm hosting and my set is the worst set of the night, to me that's a good show. Because everyone else that's going on after me is kicking ass, and I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
But if I can have someone else host, and if I can do like a feature spot or something like that, and just have them kill, even better. But if it's the first show, generally I try to have myself host. But if somebody drops, I say, okay, I'll call someone else to host.
Because hosting is really a really different animal.
Oh, absolutely.
You're like the first person to get the crowd engaged, and
You're the first person there to set the bar.
yeah,
We originally had a different host scheduled tonight, but then they can't make it, so I'm hosting myself tonight, and then I won't be on again for like another 2 months, I think. So like a lot of that I can build up, and then if I do tell some of the same jokes, it'll just be slightly different.
yeah,
So it'll be like something new. It's just like asking Tom Petty, "Hey Tom Petty, you've been playing Free Fall for 30 fucking years. Like how do you not get sick of it?" Well, to me it's like getting up there and it's like singing it again for the very first time.
Yeah.
And that's the way that Gary Peterson words it to us, is saying, just imagine Tom Petty just doing Free Fall every single night over and over again, but him treating it like it's a new song.
But I mean that's really the difference between music and comedy. Is like music, everybody wants to hear those hits. Mm-hmm. Like if you went to the Tom Petty concert and he didn't play that song, you'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But if you went to see the AJ Hapenny show and it was exactly the same as you saw the last time, you'd be like, "Oh man, you just did the same exact thing."
The crowd would still have a good time, but then they would never see me again. So it's I'm not gonna say nostalgia hack, but for a band in its prime, like if somebody goes to see Billie Eilish, they want to hear her new shit, but it's like, oh, hopefully play this bad guy.
Right.
So
And you know it's coming. It's going to be the encore.
Right.
You know.
But when you go to see Seinfeld, you want, what's the deal? Grape nuts, and they're happy, but then they're never going to go see him again.
Yeah, true. So, I think we were having a conversation, was it the last time, about the amount of time, like comics are like, oh, I have a solid 5. I'm always amazed at the comics when they're like, oh, I think that was like 7 minutes. And you'd be like, that was like 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Like, is that just something that you pick up from doing it, or just?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, everyone. The goal, I don't know, I shouldn't say what someone else's goal is, but like the achievement for comics to get like the Netflix special, which is like an hour, and you're trying to build up into an hour. But at the same time, if you were going to have an hour set, how long would it take you to build that hour?
Every comic is different.
Yeah.
If somebody told me tomorrow, say, hey, AJ Hapenny, this random guy from Bourne, Massachusetts, we want you to do a Netflix special.
Yeah.
An hour, and we want you to do it in 3 months. I would go back and compile my best shit as possible. I would put up a big old billboard, like the little pokey boards.
Yeah.
And then say, okay, but where does this fit with this? That way it flows so even.
So I think maybe my question would be better framed as, is it easier to come up with the hour first, or build that kind of reputation where someone expects an hour first? Like what? Like, is it chicken or egg? Which comes first, the fame or the hour? Like, are you famous because you have an hour material, or?
I don't think anybody got famous because they had an hour of material.
Yeah.
At least most of the ones that you see today. Oftentimes it's the fame first, but then they're so good to a point that, oh, let's give this person a TV special. But then now that they've been doing it consistently, they can write an hour in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
When somebody's starting out, they've been doing it for like 10 years, and then they barely have 15, 20 minutes. So it varies per person. But as soon as you get the first hour out of the way, it's like sex. As soon as you get the first hour out of the way, might not be that good, but the ones afterwards will be much better, and everybody will appreciate. They'll appreciate the effort.
They'll appreciate the effort. Yeah. I mean, is that your goal? Like, are you happy being the Cape Cod comedy scene? Are you?
I'm happy, but I'm never satisfied.
Yeah.
I think that that's a good thing. And said, hey, I got booked on 24 shows last month.
But why wasn't it 27, AJ?
Exactly. That's why I say, like, well, I could have done something every single day.
Yeah.
Even though there's not paid shows on.
You just stand outside
Mondays,
Dunkin'
Tuesday.
Donuts being like, hey, what's up with cauliflower?
What's the deal with the thing? I got my little change cup. And said, hey, the Dunkin' Donuts manager said he was going to give me $20 and a gift card and a donut.
but it's fun. Like, we had a couple events lately that weren't awesome, and some of the vendors are like, yeah, man, like, it's not your fault. Don't take it so hard. I'm like, yeah, but the reason why our events are good and have built the reputation is because I take it so personally.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't take it personally, I'd just be like, whatever, I got paid. Fuck you. You know, it's part of that drive and always trying to do better.
Well, as my good friend Zenobia Del Mar puts it, it's fun, but it's a job.
Yeah, for sure.
Get paid, get home safe. And if you can get a good crowd, fucking awesome. But lately, if you take it personally, then it just means you're going to work harder, or as we want to happen, work smarter.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of comics working hard. I see them pumping out. Oh, I did 4 open mics a week. Yeah, but your jokes still suck. So I see a lot of them work, but I don't see them rewriting or reworking.
Trying to improve it. Yeah.
Exactly. I said, you told that joke the exact same way for 4 years. I haven't seen you in 4 years. Your set is exactly the same, and you're doing it at an open mic, not a show. All right. You're doing it at an open mic. It's not going to get better saying it the exact same way.
An open mic is where you should be just doing all sorts of whatever.
You would think so, but a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, industry's going to be here tonight.
Oh, okay.
At an open mic in Cambridge on a Monday. Highly unlikely.
All right. I think some of the crowd is actually starting to show up. We
Great.
have pizza waiting for us. So I think that's about time. AJ, where can our listeners, we have more than one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm happy.
Handfish because you're a listener?
I'm happy to be on your lowest rated episode.
But where can people find you? I mean, if
Let's see. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Grindr, at AJ Hapenny. That's AJ Ha. The word penny spelled out 2 N's, not 1 N. You fucker. And follow me on Instagram, not TikTok. TikTok, I have too many followers. If I could siphon...
Oh, my God. Humble brag.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just too many people to deal with in my...
Exactly. I'd rather deal with them on Instagram, where that's where the real money is. So follow me. Follow me on, well, TikTok if you want, but preferably Instagram. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel to 10,000 followers right now. I'm at a humble 7. So please help me out.
Humble 7 followers?
7,000.
Oh, well, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. But I'm always unsatisfied, just like my lovers. I'm just always unsatisfied.
They always want more. It's been a pleasure working with you, AJ. And
cheers.
Cheers.
To empty
finished
glass.
My beer. Oh, actually, that's really bad. Oh, whatever. I don't know.
Which religion is that bad with fish?
And the beer drinking one?
Alcoholism.
But yeah.
we praise the almighty Charlie Sheen and Nick Nolte.
But yeah, I mean, to many more comedy shows, and it's gonna be a killer one tonight.
Yes, and hopefully by the time this comes out, I won't be dead. So hopefully,
I hope not.
hopefully a car doesn't hit me, or a Walmart truck doesn't.
Because then
hit
when
me.
people like message me about being on the show, I can't just be like, "Go talk to AJ."
And
They'd be like, he's dead. I'm like, go get a Ouija board.
I'll tell people, go talk to Aaron, because like I keep threatening Aaron with the bookings.
With a booking?
And she's like, no.
Perfect. All right, man. It's showtime.
All right,
Or pizza time.
Pizza time, baby.
Cool.
Thank you, Fish. And Andy.
Fish.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. So thanks again for listening.